So we are delighted to have Naya, Kenny and Ariana Garfinkel here with Cinemagic today to tell us a little bit more about their film, about the documentary, and to hear then the sort of insights that Charlotte and Liam drew from the film. So over to you guys.
Hi. So great to be chatting to you guys today about the film. I really enjoyed the documentary. I was just saying to you, Naya, it was probably one of my favorite documentaries I've seen in a long time. I thought it was so well done. And my first question is actually for you, Naya. One thing I took from the film was how there was like a really strong sense of female community, and like as a woman, that's something I love to see. And like how you guys could just make this community of support for yourselves after the incident and the trauma and everything. And I thought it was amazing to see every Black girl represented, and Vivian, and how that all came together and that support. My question is, what was the impact of you or for you, Naya, when like after the trauma of the incident, like was it to have every Black girl support behind you, and also Vivian like recovering from just the injustice of everything?
So you broke up a little bit. Did you say what was it for me? Just having Vivian supporting every Black girl
and the whole community.
Well, that was, I think, honestly, out of the entire situation, that was my favorite result of it. Meeting Miss Vivian, and just because I never knew anything about like that sisterhood type of organizing, and, being in girl groups, and like you said, just creating that sisterhood. Like I wasn't a part of any of that. So for me to go through something that traumatic and then be able to have that, it meant the world. It still means the world to me. I was just, that was definitely it for me.
No, that's so amazing to hear, because it definitely resonates like from the documentary. That was something like that really positive aspect that was kind of balancing this like really strong and like dense, heavy injustices that were being like described in the film. And I thought like that how that like female community and like how you were all supported like by each other, like that was really like something that I extremely loved.
Yes.
As well as the educational aspect of the documentary. What were you saying, sorry?
It was just needed at that time, because my classmates, people at school, they were, just on his side. They were on the cop side, essentially. So being able to get that type of community and love from a stranger, it was like the world.
Hi, Ariana. I have a question for you. First of all, again, congrats on the documentary. Like Charlotte, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And my first thought after it ended was, I really wish this is a film that's shown in schools, not just in the US, but I think in the UK, here in Ireland, where I live, I think it's highly important for students to be aware of issues like this. And so as a producer, I'm just wondering of the importance of that. And also, where do you think the responsibility lies in terms of making films like this and other documentaries covering this kind of subject matter accessible for young people? Do you think it lies with the schools themselves, with the distributors, with the education boards, as in putting on curriculums? What's your feeling on how accessible these films should be for young people?
Thank you so much. That's really an amazing question. And Charlotte, your question already made me tear up. So I just am very appreciative of being here with you all today. Yes, that is exactly what we're trying to do with the film. I was just telling Naya how much, we're working to get it into schools. And this movement really should be youth-led. So that's why, I'm so thrilled that we're with you all, because this is about listening to young people. What do they want in their school environments? They're not telling us that they want more police officers. They are telling us that, for real school safety, they want caring adults that are there to listen, to ask questions. There's that part in the film where Vivian said, what if somebody had just asked this girl, what's going on with you today? And I think that's what we're really trying to put forward with the messaging of the film, is let's listen to young people. And your question about how are we getting it to them, that is the big question, because people, the distribution landscape right now, people are finding films in all different ways or not finding them at all. So we're putting, a lot of energy toward getting to schools, getting to young people. We have an impact campaign that actually just launched with that exact mission, and speaking to parents, teachers, and youth. And I think it's everything that you said. I think we're just trying to do it all at once. So, if people are watching this and it's word of mouth, just even, one kind of ambassador in a community can host a screening on their own and show it to friends and family and have a discussion and really, take the next step. Naya didn't stand up to be an activist on this issue. She was not somebody who was out there speaking about civil rights until the moment that she saw something go down right in front of her. So, anybody can take that kind of power into their own hands and use their voice.
Thanks. Yeah, I would definitely going to try and implore people I know to watch it for sure, because I think they really will appreciate being able to witness this story, given the coverage it deserves. Charlotte, I think you have a question as well for Ariana.
I do indeed. My question is kind of on the technical side of how it was all edited together with all the just kind of talk with, sorry, no, what I'm trying to say is I really loved how there was this geographical perspective in the film, like linking back to the history and like how those are so intertwined. And I loved how technically, from like a filming perspective, how it was edited together with all the drone shots and the footage. It kind of looked like a map, like we're mapping the area. And I just thought that perspective was really interesting to have in the film, and connecting with this incident to like provide the context to the history and how the lands, like where everything like took place. It was so connected to like the history and the landscape. And so my question is, how did Janae Davis and this geographical perspective get involved in the film? Was it like something that you really intended for early on, or did it develop while you were documenting?
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that is one of the, I think, really special things about the film. And I have to give complete credit on that to our director, Garrett Zavitas, and our editor and my other producer, Jeff Consiglio, who were really the ones that spoke to Janae first, and just were so moved by the work that she does and her wisdom. And we started this film with Naya. Naya Kenny was the first person to say yes, and we started with just telling her story and focusing on that incident. But we always knew that we wanted to pull out into history and how did we get to that moment? Because, in the US and I think around the world, people saw that video, but they didn't really dig any deeper. We saw it, we reacted in one way or the other, and then the next thing might have happened. And so for us, it was always about trying to find a way that was emotional and cinematic to really explore, where did these laws come from? Where did this kind of attitude, about our children, begin? And so, and it's in the land, and it's baked into, our history here, and I'm sure around the world, similar. You can always turn back the page and see, how did we find all of the paths to this moment. So Janae was part of the process. It was Naya, and then each piece kind of led us to the next piece. So we met Vivian Anderson, and just as you said, Charlotte was so inspired by the work that she was doing. And then we were able to meet with Shakara, and then of course the officer. So for us, Janae was one of the parts that really just brought it all together. And it was later in the process, we just thought, okay, here we go. We can really set the stage with this opening, and then, visit throughout the film to, these really deep themes that we hoped were coming through in the story with the participants as well.
For sure, that totally comes across, like even in the title of the film, On These Grounds, it initially, right off the bat, just grounds this story. Like, remember where it started, the layers, the deepness of this conversation that is happening and continues to happen like over time, and we learn more and uncover more. I just think that was such a really amazing touch, and I'm so glad that it all came together so magically and so inspiringly and so educationally. Really just love the documentary so much, and I'm so happy to be able to chat to you guys about it. It's such an amazing documentary. We loved it.
Thank you about the title. Thank you, because we've changed the title a couple of times, so I'm glad you
Yes.
liked it.
No, Charlotte, that was like 100% on point what you said about the title. It just kind of brings it all together. Yes, that's why I'm over here snapping. I'm like,
yes. It's all we've got. We're on the line.
I think.
I can't wait to go to like screenings in person with people.
I know. It's so amazing. Like to have that community again, and that those discussions after the film is so important. So definitely, like Liam was saying, the distribution, and like you were saying, Ariana, like I think just getting the film like in your homes and with your families and with your friends and with like your classmates, like totally this film deserves discussion afterwards and just a really big dissection because there's so much to take from it. And I think, Liam, you have another question for Naya.
Yeah, no, hi. I just wanted to ask you in terms of the collaboration with the production team behind the documentary. How was it in terms of trying to build a very trustworthy and relationship with the team, and also ensure that your story was depicted in as honest and authentic a way as possible?
So that's a great question, honestly. And initially I was a little apprehensive because I met Miss Vivian first. So, like I would always go to Miss Vivian and be like, well, these people reached out to me and I don't really know what to say. But then they told me that Garrett, the director, was in Massachusetts and my dad lived there. And, one day he was like, well, let's just do lunch and just see how it goes. And we did lunch that day and it just kind of took off from there. So, I felt like he needed to meet me in person just so I could get that, exchange that energy. And it was like family from day one. I was definitely nervous though, for sure. Because, Ariana, y'all emailed me and I'm just like, first of all, my email's nowhere on the internet. How they get my email, but it was super easy to build like a trusting relationship. And Garrett would always, like, every time we filmed, every time he saw me, every time we talked, he would always say, I'm just trying to get your story out and, in the most beautiful way, and he would just always reassure me that he wasn't like displaying me in a bad light, So that reassurance definitely helped me keep going throughout the process because it was times I was just like, well, you guys want to talk to the officer? So it was pretty cool. It's family. It's like definitely family now.
Yeah, that family dynamic definitely came across. Like I've seen documentaries where the relationship between the subjects and the production team feels quite distant, but I totally got the sense that this is a real collaborative effort from everyone involved. So right. that family dynamic you talked about really comes through.
I feel like before we even started filming, there was like friendship there. We would go to restaurants, y'all, and stand on chairs and tables and dance together. Like,
I miss those days.
So we would definitely have a lot of fun together. So then it was like, play hard and then work hard. It was definitely, I'm about to cry. I miss those days.
I know, I miss you too. And I think we always just tried to explain to Naya and everybody that we were there to listen and learn, and we weren't coming with a particular agenda. Of course, we all have our own opinions, but we were just trying to be there and document.
Right.
Yeah. It is nerve-wracking. I can completely understand just to put your, share your story. It's scary, but you were so brave.
And as you mentioned there, Ariana, just, the purpose was to document and, sometimes, with different documentaries and, that sometimes does not always come across, or maybe in the actual production side, different narratives take over, but it's so authentic that, this was simply and very well done to document. So it was representing and documenting, which is so important and makes it so authentic then as well, because it is sort of more giving a platform to the story that needs to be told, as opposed to telling a story from a different point of view. So but yeah, so thank you, Liam and Charlotte. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. And, we really do value our young people's opinion and sort of the angles that they sort of take from watching a film, and to sort of, again, just give that little insight and bring it alive and just sort of lift the lid on it as such.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.